Okay, welcome guys. I just realised I didn't actually set up Twitch properly. Just bear with me. I've got everything, like it was still set up from yesterday, so which will be fine. I just want to make sure that it is actually running. Just rip into it, and yep, that's fine. The actual description will still be sort of okay-ish, I guess, so we'll just sort of leave that one where that is. Alright, so welcome. We're back with Strategic Command, the American Civil War Strategic Command, but with the Concert of Europe DLC. Now, again, I've only just woken up, so this is not my usual waking hours. I normally like to sleep for another few hours, but this is the first time actually in years that I've actually had the alarm has actually woken me up. I always wake up before the alarm, but not today. So I've even more groggy than usual in these early hours, for me anyway. I know it's sort of late afternoonish for a lot of you if you're in Europe. Anyway, welcome. We're going to be, again, just, I don't know whether to continue on the game that we were playing yesterday, which we certainly could do, or we could just go and look at the other scenario. Maybe we'll even look at the other scenario, which I think is a bigger scenario than the one that we were playing. So we've got the 1877, feel not the red rains fall. This in this case, this is actually some, again, 3 days per turn. Yeah, what have we got through here? This is the last Russo-Turkish War, the sick man of Europe battles the Tsar, and the emergence of nationalism in the Balkans. And yeah, the other one that we were playing was, of course, Garibaldi, which is the same days per turn 3 is what we were doing. So very sort of similar to the one that we actually had in through there. So just to put this into context again, if you're sort of watching this without looking at yesterday's stream at all, which is fine, this is a very, very advanced look at the coming DLC for Strategic Command American Civil War. And the DLC that will be coming is called the Concert of Europe, which essentially is the age of rifles from a European perspective of different things that European powers did in that era. There's going to be like a lot more than just two in here. The different campaigns that they'll sort of end up having, or scenarios. So there will actually be other things that will be in here, you know, ranging from smallish interactions up to very, very large. And I think one thing we did yesterday was we had a look at one of the other Strategic Command games to sort of have a look to see what the scope of sorts of things are. And I think I might do that now. I might even start off with that just so you get a feel, other than just those two little scenarios that we've got in through there. Just let me go and open up another one. Look, yesterday we opened up War in the Pacific. Let's go and open up Strategic Command World War I and have a look and see what that actually brings in as well. So this has also got DLC as well that sort of come back into it. So the Strategic Command games are entry-level war games. They do allow you to they're not as difficult in the sense of like a traditional war game in terms of the time commitment, but they can be large. Some of these scenarios can be very, very large. Just let me open this one up. So if we have a look at, this is World War I. I've got Empires in Turmoil in through here. I think that's another DLC. What we'll do is we'll actually sort of find that there's a call to arms. This is sort of like going through the actual different start dates. I don't know if we can't sort by the actual by the names or anything, but I think it's all done pretty much. I don't know, there's a few other little things where they're coming in. The DLCs will tend to be like this. Is that a DLC? No, it's not actually. Oh, this is actually a community pack, the great game. This is actually one where I did download this from somewhere, but I don't know where I downloaded it from, to be honest. It must be from the Slytherin site. So I think in this case I was, and I don't even know what year that was. I don't know how long I've had this for, but I was interested in what a community pack would actually look like with somebody actually building their own scenarios. But you do actually have now. I know that in this one, I think it's one of these is quite small and allows you to sort of play us like a small game, but a lot of them are quite large as well. Like there's some very, very large scenarios in this particular one. I don't think these different. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is the DLC packs coming back in through here with all various. And this is actually where I was. I know one of these was, I think it was Disaster in Mesopotamia, was one that's quite a nice, simple little one in this particular mission. But you end up with all sorts of different ways of playing the game. And again, this one started off with the the call to arms, then the march on Paris, for example. This would be massive. If I open this one up, and this will give you a bit of an idea of I would guess, one of the larger of the actual campaign. So if we just go and play this campaign. Got Central Powers in through there. You can either play as the German Central Powers or the Entente. In this case, we can sort of choose either just one faction or all three. However you want to go and play it. Let's just go and click on OK. I'll just click on OK through here. This is the actual counter styles, where they've got like different counter. Well, in this case, they don't actually have a choice, but sometimes there'll be different choices, and so these are built essentially per scenario, the way it sort of does work. So you can actually really quite dramatically change the look of it. So we're not playing this one, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the scope of what the game can be up to. This I'm thinking will be a largish one. And so the game that we're playing is like the Age of Rifles was sort of in the lead up to like World War One. France, their main enemy, blah blah blah. Got German conditions in through here, for example. Okay, so that's fine. We'll just sort of leave all them there. But I'll just go in. This is actually the, if I sort of start to zoom out on the actual map, this is a sort of like a largish campaign, typically of what you then end up getting in the game itself. So that's sort of essentially the whole map. That's sort of showing what's going on. With each of these would be individual units that you then have to sort of play through. So these then become a little bit more difficult to, it's more difficult than the ones we're playing. We're playing much smaller scenarios at this point in time, but that is sort of like the scope of a large campaign in the game, for example, where you'd be trying to sort of march on Paris, I would guess. So I don't know if Paris. Where is Paris? It's ruined, so it should be down here. There it is. So that would be sort of like the main objectives in this particular scenario. So a lot of combat on the way through with Verdun and other different sorts of locations back in through here. So that would be sort of like essentially like the start of like a World War One scenario, but a fairly large one. It's still not as large as some games. Some of the war games from Slytherin are even more defined than this. So these are still fairly basic in a lot of ways, but they are very, very well defined for an entry level war game. Anyway, that's sort of like one end of the scope. Let's go back in and just auto deploy those. I don't think I can get out until this has actually done what it's doing. So it's just the AI is just deploying for me. Sorry, I'll just let them go through the different phases. That was the deployment phase. Yeah, now we can get rid of it. Okay, so we then actually have the game itself. Do you really want to quit? Yes. So even that deployment phase allows you to sort of think through how you want to approach your attack. So you have some that are defined where they are positioned for you, but then other ones in that scenario you can actually do yourself. Let's quit back out of that one and get back to our game. Here we go. So all we have is, like in single player, at this stage I can only show one lustrous aim, which was the Giuseppe Garibaldi's lands in Sicily with 1,000 men. So we sort of started doing that one. We got about halfway through it. What if we don't start that, if we don't keep on playing that one? I might just go back and play that one, I think. I might even show what this other one's like. So let's just have a quick look and see this one and see if we want to play this side in through here. Hi LOL Africa, how you going? This is actually, so I should have mentioned, this is a sponsored stream actually by Slytherin, so I don't want to really talk too much about other games, if that's okay, sorry, with the question there, but the answer is yes. I did a video the other day actually, about 2 days ago, on my channel if you have a quick look. Alright, so there's choose sides, Russian start. So we've got the Russian starting through here with some allies. So we've got Serbia and we also have Montenegro. So the Russians and the Balkan states are rising up against the Ottoman Empire. So I can actually play either as the Ottomans or as Russia. Let's have a look and see what the size of this particular game is. And again, you can see the actual the style. We do actually have different styles of units we can then go and play with. Without bases, with bases, with sort of like a little area. Now sometimes there's another one actually that there's no NATO style in this particular one. It's funny because in the Garibaldi one there is. We can actually use NATO style sort of forces. In this case they're just thinking just having the ships without the base is the way to go. So anyway, we'll just go and click on OK there. But I think we'll go back and still continue on what we were playing, and then maybe start this one if we do finish that one fairly fast. But we'll still got a bit to do there. Time has come to liberate the Christian populations of the Balkans from Ottoman oppression. Here we go. And so you can see this one is actually a lot different than what we saw previously. Like we don't have the same big setup, but this is actually now a fairly large game. It's a monstrously large game. Okay, wow, this would be a big scenario. Well, so this would be on the largest end of the scale, where we've got Russian forces back up and through here. We've got actually, where does it go? We've got the these look like they're Serbian forces, are they? Or Montenegrin? Yeah, Serbia. These are Serbian forces. Montenegro should be down in here somewhere. Yeah, Montenegro down this way. And so we've got different forces all over the map. This one, I guess, gives an idea of the actual scope of what the game can be. But for in the 2 hours that we've got, essentially it's going to be, like in this case, you've got mainly the Russian forces will then sort of be going through across the Danube River. So the major river through there is like a major waterway, whereas there's other like which you can still cross, but it's going to be a bit more difficult. And so there are defences across this other side. But we could play where we only play as the Russians, for example, or only play as one of the other factions. I don't think it'd be worth playing as the other factions, to be honest. Like it's they're going to be much smaller. Maybe Serbia would sort of be okay. But it's an interesting sort of layout through there. But I think we'll actually go back, unless you guys have got any requests to sort of see something like this, where you've got to then consider a much broader sort of a front line and objectives. But we could actually just, if we go back to the other one, at least it's digestible in a short period of time. So this one will then play a lot longer to play out. So let's go back out of that one. We'll just go back and quit. Just go yes, and we're back to here again. So we'll just go back to load game. Unless we start again, I did waffle on a lot yesterday, which means I don't really need to do the waffling. We can just get straight into it. Having said that, we will be having a look at the end of this. We'll be sort of raiding in on the Slytherin channel again, and because they're at their home of Wargaming today, and that's going to be covering a lot of games that I'm really excited about, with the new things, for example, with Rule the Waves 3. So new content there. Combat Mission, they're going to be talking about what the future of that franchise is and how that's going to be working. Again, they're going to be announcing this particular game as well. So this really is just a sneak peek at what's going on through here. Let's just go and load this one in as to where we were yesterday. This is the counters. So again, we've got the counter style down through there. Oh no, it doesn't have NATO style. Some of them have NATO styles anyway. This one doesn't have it. So we're playing as Garibaldi. I think at this point we can actually flip if we wanted to change sides, but let's just stay where we are. So we're pushing our way through. So where we left it yesterday, we were pushing up to here. Now I've made some mistakes. With what we've been doing here. These have just landed. These red shirts have only got 3 supply now, which is going to start to diminish what they can do. This is not a good place for what I've been able to do in here at this stage. We need to keep on pushing in. I think it was the right move. Let's have a quick look and see. Yeah, we've got a lot of... Okay, we've still got a lot of work to do. Just wondering whether we don't start again. Because we haven't done much, really, with what we've been doing. Let's see what we've got there. Yeah, for different forces I was going to bring up. Yeah, so I've sort of screwed up here a little bit in the sense that what I've got is I've got a leader here who should actually be should got the red shirts ready to go. I've got nothing actually in the port. Yes, I do have something in the port. I think I might start again, actually, if you guys don't mind. Because we can very quickly get to this position again, and that way I won't make the mistake that I made with landing these forces here. Well, it's not a mistake, but it's not the best way to do it, and I've since read up a little bit about how that works, and really what it comes down to, let's first of all just analyze what the problem is that if I go and click on the supply that we actually have, you'll see that I've got very limited supply down on this particular area where these forces have been positioned. They've actually come in, like this one here has got supply 9. Now it's essentially going to drop to 0 because we're cut off. We need to actually break through these other locations very quickly. It's not bad that we did that, but I needed to have a leader with me to aid the supply. So if you have a look at the supply again, at what's actually going on, if we go to the next turn supply, there's I think that's sort of like what's going to happen at the end of the next turn is I've only got 1 supply through here, 4 supply in through here. I'm getting very, very limited supply. So and this guy is already down to 3 supply, and this one here is down to 9 supply. Oh, it's at 9 supply, which this will then sort of make these fight less and less effectively unless they have an actual leader in with them, and then the leader will give them supply. So if we go across the supply that's here, for example, you'll see here that the leader here, Medici, is actually giving supply around the like from his location. We're also getting supply from the main ports. So when we have a look through these, they'll actually sort of end up dribbling away through until they actually reach a city or a town. The town provides 8 supply as long as they can get it from these other locations, and so they end up with less like 8, and then they go backwards again to 8. And so as long as we've got a string of cities connected, we end up getting the supply chains and sort of go through along the roads and diminish in that sort of sense, so all the way through. So we're ending up with 8 supply at Marsala. Marsala is not a port, but that's actually where we did end up with, where we did land. But Palermo is, and so we end up with the 10 supply from the port, then running along through 10, 9, 8, and then 8 back at the city, 7s, city, 7, like all the way through, until we get to Garibaldi, who again, because he's in the supply link, he then is up to 10 supply. So he's then giving good supply to all of these other units, which is actually important. So the leaders provide a supply cost, sort of like a point supply. If I go back into here and then look at the information, rename properties, there we go. I don't know if it'll tell us the what else he does. No, it doesn't have all of the different bits and pieces, but I was sort of having a bit of a read about this before, because again, it's very intuitive, this game, but there are little rules that they actually have about the supply, the way that supply works. For example, Garibaldi looks after like 5 units that are close to him, and these 4 are ones that have sort of been allocated. I don't know why that one's not. That one is. You can see when I highlight these all highlight Garibaldi. So these are getting supply directly from Garibaldi. The others are getting supply elsewhere. But if we had a leader over here, he would be providing sort of minimal supply, but at least it would be enough to keep things going. And so what you either need to do is, when you actually do put a landing force together, you've really got to be able to then go and take over a port, like for example Taranto or Brindisi, back in through here. This would be sort of like an area where you could then sort of move an amphibious force back around. I think I can explain that better now than yesterday. We've got Salerno and then Naples back up this way as well. And so they would be sort of potential targets. In fact, who's got that one there? That's still there's still Bourbons. Yeah, Bourbons actually are there. So anyway, let's go back and start again with this particular scenario, because this is at least a nice little digestible scenario where nearly everything that we're doing is on the one map, whereas the other one is going to be across the whole map. So we'll go back out and we'll start again because I think that I have made a mistake with these units. I mean, we could persist. It's going to be hard for me to break through here. Yeah, I think I will start again. Also, I have limited amphibious forces. We were wondering about that as well. They're all in the manual actually. If we have a bit of a look. So if we have a look at, and again, this is just for this game, not for the other strategic command games. They have their own sort of ways of things sort of working. Where is it? Where does it come down? There is actually, I did see something about naval forces. Might be in here. Yeah, there's convoy raiders, purchasing units. No, it's not it there. New arrivals. So you do actually, like, depending on the scenario, you do get access to different things. You can upgrade your ports in the game as well. Advanced play concepts. General unit characteristics. Yeah, there we go. Headquarter attachments, HQ modes. Yeah, I'm not sure where that actually is. Capitals. Capturing any supply center, that's okay. We've got plunder, victory conditions, yeah, that's blah blah blah. Supply is down through there. Supply is important, and sort of managing your supply is one of the aspects of the game that you do need to sort of keep track of. Not so much when you've got like lots of towns around, but when we've just done like a landing like that, that is actually a feature that we would then need to do. So we probably will still do that. Now there should be. Yeah, we've got boosting HQ supply. So friendly HQs with a supply value of at least 3 will automatically boost the supply of another friendly HQ within its supply distribution. The friendly HQ receiving the supply boost will have its supply value boosted to 5, which is better than what will ultimately end up being 0 where we currently are. Any friendly HQs with a supply level less than 5 can receive this boost. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So it sort of becomes, and again, it's one of these things I really should have spent like a bit of time sort of reading, just to sort of really get my head around exactly how that one does sort of work. What it does do, supply in the actions points table. So this table shows the action point penalties that all units receive, whether they are land units or naval, if the supply values are low. So between 6 and 10, they have units maximum. 1 to 5, they have the unit maximum -1. Excuse me, and 0 is essentially 50% of their maximum, is essentially what actually happens. Oh, one action point if you're a land unit. So it's sort of like by being out of supply, it can be a problem. We've got the supply and reinforcements. Unit strengths can be reduced by combat losses, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And so in that case, you do need to have supply. So the unit's supply value, port strength, etc. Back in through here. At 0 cannot be reinforced, but we get a little bit of the maximum that we can then actually have, depending on the actual on the level of supply. So we'll be wanting to try to get a leader landing in behind those forces. So I think we'll use Medici in that sort of capacity. So it's fairly involved, the actual rule set for that, but not terribly bad. Let's just go back out and start again. So a little bit saying, is anyone else buffering, or is it just my internet I need to reset? I don't know. There was people have mentioned that a bit over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's the link that I have in Twitch leading up to from the Australian Twitch connection, then sort of bouncing out from there to the rest of the world. But I'm not sure if that's the problem. I know that one of the people who were watching, he figured out it was actually his side that was the issue. But then other people have been mentioning it as well. So I'm not sure. One way around that is I'm also streaming to YouTube, so you can actually watch on YouTube as well. So you do have those options there. Do you really want to quit? I'm just going to go yes. We'll just move out. So we'll just start that one again. Whoops, not hot seat. Cancel. That's a multiplayer game. So one lustrous arm. We'll just play the campaign. I won't bother reading all the stuff. So we'll just quickly sort of get to where we were yesterday. Okay. All right. So Garibaldi lands with his red shirts. And what we want to do here is just sort of start to move our way up towards Palermo. We'll bring Garibaldi across as well. Alright, that's all we need to do this turn. So we're trying to get the military production points under our control. We'll get more and more of them as we as the game develops. So we've just got like a small landing force at this stage. Now, volunteers from Salimi join the Garibaldini. Now, these are different. These actually we can't land these. These can't be loaded in. I don't think these are partisans. Peasants at Corleone revolt against the Bourbons. Yep, that's good. We get 3 MPP. So what we'll do is we'll use the we'll just let the other team have their turn. Alright, so move a unit directly adjacent to the fortress of Palermo, Messina and Reggio to force the fortresses in the garrisons to surrender. So we just have to go next to them to force the surrender. That's been scripted into the game. And we can, like Palermo is a port and is getting supply from the Bourbons back over here. So from Cagliari is under Bourbon. Actually, is it under Bourbon control? Is it one of ours? I think it's Italian. It is. It's ours. It's not ours. So ultimately, we need to get Palermo so we can get the supplies coming in. So that's actually going to be sort of where things actually do come in. But Garibaldi will actually have his major supply already coming in this other side. Now, if I go and attack initially after moving, it's just a normal attack. But if I attack the next turn, I'm then going to be able to have a prepared attack. So I don't want to attack this first turn with those 2 units. What I do want to do is move down to there and then move along this road. And I think we will move up this way. So I just want to sort of start to cut things off on this sort of sense. Now, when we have a look, this one, when we first get this particular one, we've only got 4 supply at this location, but it will come good. It's sort of red at the moment. That will then come up to being a major centre eventually with better supply. These have also just got limited supply at this moment, 6, 7. So if I go and click on the supply for where we currently are, you'll sort of see that these are sort of dwindling away a little bit. Eventually they will end up being like high level, like 8s all the way through here. Garibaldi is the one that's actually sort of pushing out the supply from his location, which is why you want them in behind with the forces when you actually do have a drop. But they also need to have access to a supply point to get the maximum supply. But in this case, you know, everything's sort of working fairly well. Let's just leave it there. We don't need to do anything else. We don't have enough points to do anything just yet. Do you want to end your turn? Yes. So Giuseppe Lamassa rages volunteers. There we go. So we've got another little group. I think that these are on a percentage, you know, like there's a random number that figures out, you know, whether it wants to get you. And these are partisan units. Partisan units can't have their supply drop below 3. So these can actually operate in behind enemy lines, which is pretty cool. Probably bring these to the south as well. I don't think we had those last time when we were doing things. Okay, they're moving down along, sort of liberating the rest of the island of Sicily. I'm just going to move that one across to there. Now we have a prepared attack. And when we have a look at both of these, and I just need to get into one spot in through here. There's an enemy leader back over through there. And so we actually do have, if I just right click, I can then deselect. But we do actually have a Bourbon's leader. This is the 2 Sicilies leader. We don't know much about them because we can't see them just yet, but we're aware of them. Let's just go and attack into here. That way we did get the 3, that was good. So we got 3 damage to its full strength. So its strength was 7. Its readiness is only 51. As we do attacks, the readiness will drop. Ours is still at 96% readiness, 93% here. So if we now do it, we're likely to take 1 loss ourselves, and but we're also likely then to do 4 damage to them. Not enough to destroy it. And we did take 2 damage ourselves, unfortunately. So we still did big damage, but they did do damage back to us. Now we're over strength in here. This is 12 of 10. This is now at maximum strength, at strength 10. The partisans are at, that's their maximum strength there as well. I'm not going to attack with those, but I will just sort of cut things off on that side. So I might as well grab that city as well. And if we again have a look at the supply again, we'll sort of see that the like even there we still are picking up. We are picking up some limited supply from that city next turn, so that sort of is helping a little bit. Let's go and end our turn here. They're going to try to replenish this force, but what's going to do is then affect their readiness. Yeah, they're up to 8. So they've actually, they could have shuffled things around potentially, like just move some units around to try to sort of get it out of harm's way and then sort of replenish it next time, but it's just not going to work for them. And so in this case, if we have a look, their readiness is now down to 45. If we have a look and see what they've got. I don't know if it'll show us, no, it won't show us in here. It shows the basic stuff that they've got there. I'll just click on OK. But in this case, the readiness is 45, morale is 35. Their actual overall strength, they've only got three of 4 action points, so they are losing. Their supply is down to 5, that's why they've got less action points. And so they're losing because of the lack of supply and also because of the attacks going in. The major damage there, we did 5, they did 1 back. And they've been shattered, they've been destroyed, and this then will then be, that's the objective there. So we've now taken that one. All we have to do is go next to Palermo, and then they give up, which is scripted in the game. It's not actually if you're playing something different, it won't always do that. Let's move along the coast there. Let's move down along the coast there, and we'll move this one up into the middle, and we sort of start to take these central locations. With the partisans, okay, so that's good, and everything else there is good, so I think we'll just end our turn. I should give up. We did have rain at the same time last time. I've played this a little bit before. There we go. Palermo is now surrendered. Hi, Vegan. How are you going? Yes, Winfleck is saying I get the same problem when the kangaroos are lined up. There we go. So Palermo has now surrendered. Just go and grab that one. I'll just take these locations. Garibaldi coming back this way as well. Just keep operating along these roads to get all of the southern end of Sicily. We now actually have got, this has now been blocked off, so we'll be needing to go through the road networks to sort of surround this unit here. With the different forces that we have. We're up to 46 MPP. I can't sort of purchase anything just yet. Now we have a very, very limited things that we can actually purchase from here. In the bigger scenarios, you'll have more than just HQs and brigades. But the HQ, I guess the value of the HQ is the fact that they can be positioned anywhere. So we might even look to save up for one of those. Like it's handy to get a brigade at worth 200 military production points, but the HQs cost a lot more. But we will be getting one anyway soon automatically. I don't think it's going to tell us when we're going to be getting the various other forces that are scripted to come in. There is actually another thing we can look at, which is the strategy guide. And so what this one does is it does tell you often background information about what you're doing. So this actually comes with the game as well. So it goes through the victory conditions, the campaign rules and mechanics. So 3 new types of units are available in this campaign: National Guards, Red Shirts and Field Artillery. National Guards are extremely weak garrison units. Red shirts are the main combat unit available to the Garibaldini, representing the 1,000 and their other trained volunteers. Red shirts have a minimum supply value of 3, similar to Rangers in the base US American Civil War campaigns, as well as very high demoralization value. So that's interesting. The red shirts can actually operate as partisans. Field artillery units are also can also attack enemies up to 2 hexes away without risk of damage, but only if the field activity has not yet moved. Okay, that's fine. Partisans in this campaign, representing the squadre, the local recruited reinforcements under Garibaldi's command, are also stronger than their American Civil War counterparts, with a substantial demoralization value. So brigades in this campaign are also more likely to retreat upon taking heavy losses than in the American Civil in the base game. So to represent their low morale, I should have read this yesterday actually. This is good information. To represent the low morale and cohesion that plagued both most Bourbon units and some later Garibaldine units, such as the British Legion. So there was morale did play a big role in through here. Most units are also significantly weaker when attacking forts compared to other American Civil War campaigns, to reflect the limited availability of siege artillery to Garibaldi's forces. HQs have an attachment range of 4 and unit attachment limit of 5 in this campaign. Both sides have access to limited numbers of transports, and the Garibaldini can also use amphibious transports upon capturing a port. So we can, and I'll talk about that, we did that by accidentally yesterday, and we figured out that there was some sort of limit. I'm not sure if it tells us what does go on. So historical note, while the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies did have a substantial navy in 1860, this proved notably ineffective at preventing Garibaldine operations, including the crossing of the Straits of Messina, eventually deserted following the evacuation of Naples. To reflect this historical impotence, no naval units are available to the Bourbon player. Research cannot be conducted in this campaign. Diplomacy, is not possible to declare war on neutral nations. A convoy will run from Sardinia, Piedmont to Palermo, providing the Garibaldini with 30 MPPs per turn upon that city's capture. This convoy will cease on August the 1st, 1860. Right, so we're getting an extra 30 points with the capture of Palermo. Partisans, with the exceptions of the main city of Naples and the fortress of Gaeta. In fact, if I go this way, we can read it so you guys can sort of read it a bit better probably as well. What do we do? Certain partisan hexes will become active on certain conditions being met, and each potential spawn location may produce a maximum of 1 partisan unit throughout the course of the campaign. Partisan units, partisan spawn locations may be seen by pressing the P on your keyboard. Let's have a look at that. Aha, there we go. Oh, that's the partisans there. Where's the spawn points? Okay, these are we don't have them in here. So these are potential spawn points. That's pretty cool. So we already had the Corleone one come. We haven't had this one trigger. So these will trigger based on sort of like random number generators. So we may end up with more partisans, but we may not. We don't know. So we'll find out, I guess. So that's interesting as well. Just didn't know about that. P. Again, this is what the game is cool like this because it's got a very, very good scripting thing. Anyone who wants to sort of script their own scenarios can do so very, very well in this game. I was going to say very easily. It's not very easily, but it's not complex. But there's a lot of power in the scripting in the game. Those showing a partisan unit are currently considered active. Yeah, blah blah blah. Many of the following conditions will activate partisan units. Okay, let's have a look at this one through here. Capture of Palermo. These will initially be covered. Yeah, okay. Capture of Messina. Garibaldine HQ in mainland Italy. Okay, these are just different captures and things. Garibaldine unit HQ within 13 hexes of Salerno, and Garibaldine HQ unit within 15 hexes of Molloys. Okay, we'll just see what actually does happen. Scorched Earth, surrender of fortresses. I won't worry about reading all of this stuff. The Bourbon Constitution, evacuation of Naples. That's at the end of. That's a long way off. Yeah, this just tells us a little bit about what's going on. Okay, so one final warning. Should you have the HQ red shirt or brigade within 4 hexes of Naples, the Bourbon King Francis may leave the city to join his army. Should this happen, you will need to be ready to rapidly strengthen the defences of the city or risk a humiliating reverse that could spell the end of the liberation campaign. That's interesting. So, brief history, there we are. So we've got historical context. Let's just see if there's anything else in this. Decision events. These are scripted events. So these are different things that will actually happen. It's just giving us like the triggers for those events. Fighting Spirit events. Okay, these are city on first capture. It's okay. Here we go. So this is actually the spawns. So we've got the Garibaldi HQ and red shirts ×2 at Marsala on the just giving us the date. So that's the Garibaldi. That's the start prior to term 1. Then we have partisans at Salome, Corleone, and Termini. These are different dates that these zones do come in. The Medici comes in on the 18th of the 6th, so fairly soon. And then we've got 3 red shirts at Palermo on the 14th of the 8th. So this is actually, that's all we're going to get. Then the others actually start to, the Bourbons then get theirs as well. And then these are the various sort of messages that are then going to be coming through. So these little guides are provided for individual scenarios do actually provide a, you can get a lot of information from this that you can't sort of really access easily from within the game itself, which I wish that there was something in the game. I mean, you can go straight here to go and pick up exactly that strategy guide. But it doesn't show us the, like it would be nice if there was a way in game for that to be shown. But I mean, it does, there is a way sort of for it to happen there. Okay, so we're sort of now rattling our way through the, through what we're doing here. Now I can't really do anything with that force. So we have done our turn here, I think. I could attack this one where we do 2 damage each. I'm not sure what its readiness is only 60. Mine's only 53. I think I might just leave it where it is. Support of Garibaldi is strengthened by the capture of Palermo. The fall of Palermo reduces Bourbon fighting spirit, and we end up getting all those extra, those plus 30 because we've got the we've now got an active supply route that's now running through the to Palermo, and we have plus 100 for the surrender of Palermo. So we're getting 143 MPP. Now, I don't know if I want to bring in another leader, like wait until I got 400. I might do that actually. And we'll bring in we can get lower level leaders. Maybe we even get a lower level leader as the to sort of lead the occupation forces as we sort of getting behind other forces. Once we get Messina, we'll probably then do still do a naval operation on the other side there, but we'll do it from Palermo. All right, we're back in. We're back in. So I'll take this red shirt along this road. Bring them through and just bring this one through and just take these other objectives. Alright, that's fine where they all are. We've got up to 189, so again we don't need to do much else just yet. $45 that time. We're getting again the plus 30. We're getting some MPP from the cities that we capture as well. Now if I go to here, I've still got, there's a block there to the road, so I can't get supply running along this road easily, so I'm just going to go one more this way. That will then sort of take that, and then we'll just start to move back up along that other roads system. I could even get in this one in behind it. Yeah, let's keep on doing that. We'll just move in behind that particular location with those red shirts. just keep Garibaldi on the coast. Still within range of Garibaldi, this one. So if I move any further away, it's going to leave the actual range of the Garibaldi unit. I don't know what the second time represents. I think it's somehow the leadership range. This one started off in that range, so that may be that it's now outside the range of Garibaldi. We'll see what happens next turn, just in terms of the benefits that they end up getting. Now we've got over 200. At this time yesterday, I was at this point I was actually then buying my first brigade, but I think I'll actually wait. It's now June of 1860. We're going to get one other force coming in fairly soon. Here we go. So Medici and the second expeditionary arrive to support the Garibaldine back down this other side. Italy collects 18 MPP back through this other side as well. So and we did capture supplies at Caltanissetta, which is here in the middle of the map. So we are finding some supplies which are giving us even more points. There they go. That was that when we clicked on P before. That was one of those things that can actually occur. So they've actually risen up. If we have a look at the P again, so they're the locations where we can end up getting the various uprisings. Whoops, enemy contacts, and we've stumbled into that one. Just move them down, just push the borders back. We don't need to have borders established in the middle of the map like this. Okay, we're getting that one up. Three action points into there. Keep that one on the road. Now that one doesn't have the effect of Garibaldi. We don't. So we're not actually getting the leadership effect there. So I'll probably move down onto that road next turn. And even by doing this, I think we stopped supply coming to this unit. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, nothing lost. In that case, got him. Okay, that was accidental. Alright, so off we go. So, yeah, that was not a planned attack at all. But it worked out. We didn't lose any units. I meant to right-click, not left-click. I do that a lot with games. So Palermo is now sort of working fairly well. Now we've got these forces as well. So we do want to bring these across. Now, we could use this as our landing force in behind this other location, because we're going to be sort of... I think that Syracuse will fall. These we can just use partisan units to defend against. If I go and click on that one, I can't do that one just yet. I will be able to soon. Let's move up to the port. Get these in here. So we want to get Medici along with these guys to actually go. Now, I don't know what the limit is to the amphibious forces that we have, but it's but we'll go through that in a bit of detail as well when we actually get to Palermo. I don't know why I couldn't. I think I could still do it from here as well, from Syracuse, but ultimately Messina. We need to have like it's got a supply value there of 8. I thought we could do more than that. We'll see what happens anyway. Reports aren't going to tell us anything, are they? No, that's not going to give us information. I looked at that yesterday. Alright, so we'll just end our turn there. But the pacing of the game is pretty fast. So there we go. Spring flag saying, where is Mr. Garibaldi from Babylon 5? It's been a long time since I've watched that. I don't remember who that is. Julie, you want to end this turn? Yes, we do. I thought there was a bit of pushback on the other side there. start to move along this road. So if I can then sort of add to this one, I can only get like one extra point there, because I think the supply is, let's have a bit of a look and see if we can figure out what's going on here. So if we go and click on supply, that's our current supply situation. And like at the end of the next turn, or the next turn, like at the end of this turn, it'll be 5. But at the moment, it's only 4. So I have very limited supply at that location, which is going to then diminish what I can then do to replenish it. But I still will just do the 1. So it's up to 7, which is fine. And it will start to sort of move around to do damage into here. Now we can see there's a force at Syracuse. And at the moment we're just on a hill there, and there's a hill there, so either one of those is going to be fine. We'll just stay where we are there. Actually, one thing I could do is just cut off Syracuse, and not that it's a port, so it can still sort of get its own thing, but it will then mean that the Catania will end up being end up struggling a little bit in through there. In contact. Did suffer a couple there, and we'll just start to push these up as well towards Messina, and then these are the partisans. Let's keep that one on the road. So with this one, I can't actually use the amphibious transports just yet. Actually, if I right-click on units as well, I've got different sorts of things that I can then go and do from here as well. So I can actually go and look at the all sorts of different stuff from just a right-click on top of units. I don't know if I can do it for the enemy forces here, properties, or for the mountain. We've then got the information about the defensive bonuses that terrain actually provides, like depending on who's actually in there. So in this case, defensive bonus of 2 for the units that are actually defending in that particular one. All right, we'll end our turn there. We're up to 351. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer, and then we'll get ourselves another leader and start to bring another force in. When I was playing yesterday, I ended up with too many of the low-level units. We're not ready to go anywhere else. Okay, the King Francis issues a constitution. Sparks disorder in Naples. So the enemy forces in Naples are struggling there a little bit. So there's disorder that should then sort of permeate through the two Sicilies. So we'll just keep on coming back down. I'll just keep these coming through here, and then we'll sort of get a bit of a prepared attack on that one there. Okay, we've got this one here. We need to just replenish that one up a little bit. Just get it up to full strength. Now these, I could actually still use these back in through this other side. We're not ready to go anywhere else just yet. I might bring one of those forces up. Actually, I'll bring both of them up. I'll bring all of them along this road. So we won't do the landing just yet, but we'll prepare for that one with other units. Well, we know that there's going to be another group that we're going to be getting at Palermo anyway, fairly soon. So I might just put a leader in there. Let's have a look and see what we've got. 383, so nearly enough to grab a leader. More rain. Supply. Okay, back in here. We're now at 439, so let's go now and purchase ourselves another an HQ brigade. So I'll get the best one there. This one's got leadership of 7. So we'll grab Brixio and do the purchase. And if we have a look, we're down to 34 now. If we have a look at production, we get him on the 9th of August. So July, July, August. So we're still a month away, basically, a month away before we get Brixio. And again, if we have a look at the what's actually coming else, if we just go and close that one, so that's going to be in a month on the 9th. If we go Alt Tab. Back out to here, we're going to be getting 3 more red shirts on the 14th of the 8th. So, so we're going to get them basically at the same time at Palermo. So that's actually pretty cool. That'll work out nicely for what we're going to then be doing. Now we get a cavalry brigade when we capture Catanzaro, which must be over here somewhere, I'm guessing. Let's have a look and see if we can see it. There it is. Yeah. So that's an objective for us. We then get cavalry at that stage. So that's a little way off. Our first thing is to get across the Straits of Messina through here, which is going to be the. This is why we want to have a landing force back into here, I think. Now we do want to be taking this location, but we'll just get rid of these as well, just with partisans initially, and then we'll just try to keep on pushing through Messina with our actual red shirts. Yeah, can't do anything else there. Everything else is done. I can start to do damage that way. I can push this one down into a zone of control, which I might do. Just leave that one in the mountains, and then we'll start to push towards Messina in through here. Just keep that one surrounded. This one now is cut off, and so we'll see its supply is down to 2. So we'll just let that supply dwindle away. So Catania is a city. It does have a supply of 2 there. I don't know if that's the minimum. Let's watch that one in the next turn. So they're moving up. Generous saying, I love games with manuals that can be used for tactical cover. Printed manuals. Right, so we're sort of now surrounding this unit in through here. Now, it's Syracuse. If we just have a quick look and see what their supply is. Their supply is 5. This one here is down to 1. So I can just keep that one where it is, to be honest. Like, it's not going to be able to do anything. It's sort of, its readiness is now dropping away. In fact, yeah, we still lose a little bit of units there. Does it matter? It probably doesn't really. This is really where the fight is. So I might just starve out these other locations and just leave them doing what they're doing, and we'll just keep on bringing these other forces up. Now, I've got the chance to sort of start to push my way into here. Just get these other red shirts ready for Medici across that side. Okay, that'll do us. So we'll just starve this one out, and then next turn its supply should then be 0. Its readiness is already really, really low, so it should then start to disintegrate. They've replenished that one there, but they've now done that. It's going to then impact their readiness. Okay, we're seeing a leader over this way. So their readiness is 55. Supply is high from where they actually are. Let's just keep on putting pressure on this one here. They're coming in, they're sort of flanking us a little bit in through here. This one now should be down to 0 supply. Yeah, so we've got 0 supply in through here. So it's now been cut off completely by these partisans. And its readiness is now dropping. Its morale is only 4%. So we're going to see major, major losses now. Just move these up. Take that city. Just get these ready to come down and then push for Syracuse. Syracuse is supply is 5. Now that's a port, so that's always going to have 5 supply. You can see the little 5 there with the port. We've got 10 supply coming into this one, for example. We don't know this one yet. We can't see that one, but we'll start to sort of move up. Now we've got that one sort of is pushing its way around. It's a weak unit, so we won't have to worry about it too much. That one I can't move up. I can move that one in, but I don't think I want to at this stage. I mean, we do have to keep on pushing up. Yeah, maybe we do, just to get it. I can't resupply any of those just yet because they've all moved. Medici in there close as well. Okay, 22nd of July now is the date, so we're getting closer to the other reinforcements coming in, and then it should be about the right sort of timing for us to land back in this area on the toe of Italy. We want to end this turn, yes. Back up to 200. That's just been resupplied. All right. Well, let's move into. Oh no, we can't move into there. We're sort of caught there a little bit. So you can move in with that one. The others can't. Let's now cut these 2 off. And just while we're here, let's just wait until we've got a bit of time. Now this one is a bit weakened, but it's still good. Actually, I'll leave Garibaldi back there. He's giving all this, he's lending his support everywhere through that side anyway, so that's actually going to be okay. Let's replenish that one. That one we can't do anything else with. That one we can. That one we can. We'll get them back up to their full fighting fitness. And then we'll come down and push against these brigades down this way. So these will then be cut off from their supply. They've still got 7 supply and 8 supply respectively back in through there. So we'll end up sort of pushing that one back. So we'll end our turn there. That's been given more. Now they're going to move back out again. I'm going to have to fix this one up. Oh, that works in my favour there. Actually, having that one retreat, because I can then get 3 lots of 10s coming into this across this front line. It's down to 2 supply now and 3 supply respectively through there. So that will actually, we can just leave that one where that is. Let's move that one up and move this one in. And then we can replenish this guy. In fact, if I go into here, and if I go into, I don't actually have elite reinforcements. I've only got reinforcements. So I can do it that way as well. Just go maximum, so it'll just be up to 10. So this is actually where I'm doing it. Like this is more, rather than just using that tool, I can actually be very, very explicit. Actually, there's other ways I can do that as well. If I go and click on the unit, this one here will then reinforce. So it's the same as using the reinforcement tool. So we've got the reinforce tool. I can actually go to the unit and reinforce this way, which will then bring up this one through here. And so we end up with getting, we do get experience loss, and the cost is going to be 56 MPP. So just go and click on OK. So that one's now back up to strength 10, but at reduced readiness and morale. Everyone else is looking good there. Yep, they're actually all operating fairly well. And eventually we'll be able to, once the supplies dwindle away to nothing, we're going to then be able to do a lot of damage to them without really concerning ourselves at all. Start to move these in. Start to whittle away at what they can then do. All right, and our turn there. It's interesting, the positioning of forces is important with this one, like, and just waiting for those prepared attacks and then looking at the supply that's coming back through here, the enemy supply. Now we're over 200 again with the MPP. So Geo here is only a level 4 commander, which is pretty weak. If they don't go put someone else back in there, that's going to be good for us. Here we go, new units. We've got Brixio. Now that's always just going to come in at Palermo, I think. Oh, there we go. So I'll just go and position Brixio there. So we're going to use Brixio to land in behind here with another force. Now it doesn't tell me exactly what the what we have with the amount of amphibious forces we have. And again, I wish the game would do that. That would be pretty cool if it did, but it doesn't do that. These guys are now down to 1 supply, 2 supply there, so they're sort of slowly being starved out. This one here, we have the... just keep on doing attacks this way. Yeah, if I move, I don't get to replenish. Just try to overwhelm. And then next turn I can at least get this partisan unit fixed up a little bit. We're only just getting supply sort of happening back in through here. So we've got like low supply there. That will eventually come good. Yeah, these are going to struggle a lot. Let's just leave them where they are for now. Actually, they've now left us this. This means we're going to get Messina right now. So we'll move in. There's another leader there. Bring Garibaldi up. Well, let's just watch and see what actually happens with Messina. We don't need to assault it or anything. Yeah, there's no real need to do anything else here, so we'll just leave that one where that is. We should get more troops very soon. One more turn, I think. Garrison of Messina surrenders to Garibaldi, and if we get next to Reggio as well, we then end up getting that one. So all of those guys were then taken out of the picture. So we now just need to now march our way across. Now this one's got very, very high readiness, so we'll start to do damage there. Let's get all of these up that way. this one's so badly out of supply now that it really can't do anything. Oops, where are we there? Alright, we've now got that road connection through there. This one's still struggling to get its supply up. Again, if we just go back to reinforce, I'm just going to go max so we can get 4 points there. One's back up to 8. So these are prepared attacks. There we go. We've got it now. Alright, so we have Syracuse now, so we have a port down this way, but it's only got 5 supply. So I don't know if that will then come more than that. This one here has only got 8 supply. Now there was a rule about the 10 supply being the one that you want to be sort of using for your ports for launching. I might even have a look, see if I can find that in the manual, just so we can sort of, at least so you can see where to look for those sorts of things if you are playing the game. Now I can move that one back out of the way and move these up. There we are. Actually, I could have done the other one as well. Now that location there is, this is the, yeah, so I'm going to take that location. Yeah, so we're sort of, we're in the sea, which means we don't get any sort of benefit from anything else. Gosh, we almost... I'll wait until we got the others. We're sort of now running ahead of ourselves a little bit here, which is actually good. In this one, I can't do much with these yet, so I'll just leave them where they are. Move these up, just get them into a position where they can help. So we are getting Garibaldi's. Now the readiness of this one is only 67%. But that will then, Garibaldi will be able to sort of get the readiness up a little bit more, just under his control there. Just move these across. We're going to be able to start to sort of fan out once we get past here as well. We may be able to even land further up and you know, try to sort of claim all of these while we're finishing this one off. We've still got to, actually, you know, having another group in here would actually really help enormously. So the timing is right for this. Now the 251 that we've got there, there's nothing else we can really do. If we have a bit of a look, there's nothing we can replenish just yet because everything is now moved. So I think we'll just end our turn. I could start to just get another red shirt brigade. It might be worth doing. Just going back to purchases. We're going to be getting another 3 units anyway right now, but we'll just go back to brigades and 200. We'll go and purchase, and so that's going to come in the 14th of September. So we're a month away. We then pick up that particular unit. We'll close that one off, and away we go again. So we'll end our turn there. Okay, so support is strengthened. That will mean more MPP. So the military production points sort of are abstracted across all sorts of different things, but they are how we keep on building up our forces. Okay, reinforcements from Piedmont arrive in Palermo. So we've got Piedmont, Sardinia, Piedmont in through this other side, surrender of Messina, that's fine. Now, I think I can only have like 2 landing forces active at any time. Cavour reduces the supplies being sent to Garibaldi. Oh, here we go. Calabrian peasants rise against the Bourbons. So we do get another group in through there as well. Cavour reduces the supplies, so we've got that one. So there are all the different messages that came out this turn. And so we have these partisan units. So we might as well take this location here. So we'll start to claim these areas. Now the partisans, you can see there it's got 3 supply, this one's got 3 supply. Partisans don't drop below 3 supply, so they sort of can still operate a little bit effectively out sort of in the middle of nowhere. So this location here that was a good little attack that we actually had through that side. This one here is going to be a bit of a battle of attrition with what we have to do to break our way through here, but we may still have to do that. If we have a look at what we can do this side, we've now got a couple of different things we can do. We've either can put them on a transport or we can put them onto amphibious transport. The difference with this is that the amphibious transports can then be dropped like on any coast. Sort of, they can't be dropped on enemy units, but they can be dropped into locations. So that will be important. And if we go to Brixio as well, Brixio can also have one of these two. So the amphibious transports can be dropped on any coastline, but the whereas transport has to be dropped into a port. So if we needed to quickly move, for example, that unit from there to Messina, then we would just use a normal transport to do that one. And again, we have limited numbers. I think it's 2, and then if you're playing other like 2 at any one time, and I think if you're then playing different factions, you can different scenarios, you can get. You can ultimately get more transports under your control. I think the major power has 2, the minor powers have 1 per turn, essentially active at any one point in time. So let's go and see if we can get this happening. So we'll just go and we've got, yeah, there it is, with little brackets there too. So that's our maximum. So we'll spend 42. So we spend, I think it's 10% of the, no, it might be even 20% of these units to do an amphibious transport. Just go yes, and so we've got 1 there, and then we've got this one as well. And if we just go to amphibious transport, only got 1 left now. Actually, that's a better way to do this, isn't it? So we now actually have the two groups have now sort of been placed in there. That's the most we can have for our initial landings. But let's go and leave these other guys sitting here for when we do use those up. So I can still get normal transports, but I can't get amphibious transports. The other one that we saw there was the long-range amphibious transport. Now what happens with these is that we have to use these start off with 10 supply. Every turn they drop by 1 supply per turn, and they can also be used to help attacks as well. They can actually move in and do attacks, the actual transports themselves. The normal transports can't. So they do have a low, in fact I wonder if we can actually look at this one through here, amphibious transport. Attack values, yeah, just against soft or infantry, they can just do minimal damage, but they can do a little bit. So they can sort of help to soften a landing force. And so the way that these ones work is that they will lose supply every turn if we don't sort of drop them off quickly. If we were playing with other naval units, we'd have to be careful because these would then be susceptible to normal naval units intercepting these. Again, I love this aspect of the game, so it's pretty cool. Supreme Plague is asking a question about a game that is not Slytherins. So this is a sponsored stream, guys, so I can't really be talking about other games, but I will be able to talk about that one tomorrow. So, I mean, I guess I can mention that, yes, I can answer and say yes to that one. So, yeah, so I've already put up a video, actually, a couple of days ago about that particular game. So the one in the comments there. Right, let's continue on. That was on Twitch, those comments, by the way. So I'll leave those there ready to pounce from this port, which is, now this port is coming up. This one has now got 9 supply. So it's starting to get better. And I think from a level 10, let's have a quick look and see if we can see where that one actually is. If we just go back to the manual, HQ supply, reinforcing HQs, naval supply. In general, naval units within range of a port receive maximum supply minus their distance from the port. Okay, that's fine. That's not going to help us much there, so that's not actually it there. There is a way of using the ports and I can't remember how that one works. Reinforcing. No, I can't think of what we have to do. There was I think there is something in here which gives you a an idea of what actually happens. Like there's some little graph that little table of things that happen when stuff actually does happen. It's a lot of information in the manual, but yeah, I can't remember where that actually is. So we'll just go back to the game. We'll muddle our way through. It's one of those games that is forgiving in the sense that you can sort of muddle your way through most things. Get that one up to 8. Get that one up to 8. I just don't know if the partisans can be transported. No, they can't be transported. So the partisans are going to have to be moved back up and through the gap. So partisans are purely like on foot. These are starting to now come up as well. Slowly, the supplies are coming up to speed. I think I'll start to just push hard here. They're going to have to then switch out their units. Oh, that one there I think can be reinforced. Yes, it can. Up to 10, that's fine. So they're now all, except for that one there, they're now all, and that one, they're both not quite fighting fit, but we are pushing into here. All we have to do is get to that position, and then we've got Reggio as well. So I think we'll actually, if we land the leader next turn, that's going to then be helpful. We may even go further up the coast. And, yeah, I don't know, there's no port down this way, so we are cutting off supply to these guys. Their supply is 5, which I think is going to be the maximum they can have because of that leader there. If we come in close, we can then sort of destroy the leader and just get rid of these little mountains in through here as well, like just sort of take over this bottom area. All right, so we've got end of turn there. Italy collects 38 MPP. Now, will they replenish that one? Yeah, they got it up to 5. Oh, there's more coming in. Just leave them where they are. That's good. Come on. Got him, got him, got him. Oh, we still can't move up. Do the maximum reinforcement there. Unfortunately, we can't get in there, but on this one through here, we've got the red shirts there, and then this one here we've got the Brixio HQ. So I can bring this one across. I could actually land in there, and that will then get me Reggio, which should be all I need to do. So let's go and bring that landing of this unit into this location. And now we've actually done what we needed to do. So we've actually used an amphibious force there to land into that gap. And being next to Reggio means that will then sort of that will give up this turn. We can now use this one to come back in and help out these guys essentially. So we'll bring Brixio across just to get more support down this other side. Oops, enemy contact. That's not good. Actually, I might just keep that one back up there. Okay, that was a bit of a surprise, a bit of an unpleasant surprise with those artillery pieces coming through. And we are seeing other units coming in. So Brixio's could be in a bit of trouble here. We've now used up all of our amphibious transports, but we don't have any more just yet. So we'll wait for a turn for that to reset, and then we should be okay. So they can't move through there just yet. Everyone's a bit sort of stuck. So they can't do anything. We'll start to move these up, march them back up towards the rest of the fighting. Now that Syracuse has fallen. This is coming up to 7. This is now a level 10. So we could actually now use this one for also getting units to land further up the coast. That's probably a good idea for us to keep that there, just so we can keep on leapfrogging up the coast and then blocking off these other units. Like we should see their supply should be down. Yeah, it's down to 3, so which is good. Brixio, yeah, we'll see what happens there, I guess. Trying to push us away from Reggio. Reggio will now fall. Lucian presence rise up against the Bourbons. Wow, that's in the middle of nowhere. Garrison Reggio surrenders to Garibaldi. There we go. It's a nice easy way to get things happening. Now that one there has got its readiness is down to 27. Its morale is only 5%. So let's push while we can. Just get this one reinforced. She will bring up as well, and we'll just slowly sort of get these partisans across as well. There we go. We're back to our amphibious transports. We've got 2 of those. We've got 53. Yeah, I'll still do it. So we're using our production points here to get more units. Now we should have another unit coming in fairly soon, so we'll be able to just keep on bouncing this one up along the gap. Do we get to replenish that one? No, we don't. Let's just keep that one back there for now, until we can sort of come up and sandwich these guys. Their supply will diminish. They're down to 2, so they're not going to be able to do too much. That one's already at 2 as well. So they've been cut off from their supply by these partisans, which now have Brixio. So Brixio is now helping these partisans. You can see he's giving a bonus to both of those. And then we can land this other force back in behind. And then the next turn we can then go and grab another 1 or 2 as well and bring them through. I'm pretty sure I can't use partisans in here, but we'll test it out and see if we can. It's just it's never shown there, whereas these guys do actually have, even if they can't use it, it's still showing that they can ultimately do it. I don't think these, yeah, even these are showing it. So depending on the actual unit, you can actually then at least find a little bit more information about their abilities by right clicking. Now there was another group in here. Let's start to cut off. We can use our partisans now to block off supply. There's still supply coming back through there. Now we've got another... Wasn't there 2 partisan units that we ended up getting? If I just press the N... Is it the N key to go to the next? Keep on sort of working our way through there. That's all we got. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's it. We should have, with our purchase, we're now the 2nd of September. We've got more units coming on the 14th of September. So in a few more turns, we'll end up with another group coming in. close that one off, and then we could land them as well in behind the other forces. Hi Tenru, how you going? Okay, we got a bit more. Okay, they're taking back Cosenza. So there's more units coming down, obviously. What is their supply? Their supply is 4. There. Yeah, so we've got that brigade. Actually, supply of 5 for that brigade. We'll let them dwindle away. That there is going to be giving supply to the others. So they're going to be on minimal supply here from this unit. So I'm going to try to cut that one off from being able to supply the other units. Now, if I do attack, I'll do the attack and then move. Nope, I've used up the action points that I had. It's been shattered, that's good. Alright, so we're over now. Your supply of only 2 there really means it can't do a hell of a lot. Bring Garibaldi across. Now, where do we want this one to drop? I'm thinking in here just to because we're going to be able to then have other transports coming in after this. Let's move that group into there. Just leave that one there for now. We're going to ultimately be able to stop, like leaving those 2 partisans with Brixio there. Now we've got Brixio will now ultimately control this one as well. There is that road. Might just move Brixio across. You can see there that Brixio is himself is only got 3 supply, but it's still giving supply to all of these different units. That one's 10 supply at the moment. They're down to 3, down to 4. I'll just keep him sort of operating in this area until we can break through. Once we break through, we're going to be sort of doing okay. I won't attack this turn. We'll do a prepared attack, which means we don't move. That one there, did we move that one? That one's, no, we've got 3 or 4 action points, so I can't make use of that one. I think I'm going to, this one's still got all the action points, so I can actually put that one onto a amphibious transport. For 42, we'll go yes. And we'll be able to then move that one into positions for up through this side as well. Alright, so we'll end our turn there. Actually, are these guys done? It's going to be congested down on that road. So they're both firing at range of this unit. Actually, I forgot to move the other unit. Okay, we've got the new units. Here they come now. And can't do anything with that one just this turn. Yeah, so this one is now being spotted. I think I'm just going to keep it, I want to keep it, where is it at the moment? It's just in a little town, which is actually okay. I can't really cut things off yet there. If I do start to move amphibious forces out from Messina, that may be useful as well. Anyway, we've got these which we can start to land in behind. So they're bringing forces in. Now if I can just take that location there, I end up getting cavalry. So I think I will actually just bring more of these forces across just to bunch into this particular group. What can we do here with reinforcements? Only get 1 point. Cancel that. Ooh, they're doing a bit of damage there. Let's take this town now. Got it. Now that should give us a cavalry piece at the end of the next turn. Let's move them out of the way there. Yeah, we've got more than enough here. Let's just keep on pushing von Michel back and pushing these up. Smash these as we go. Bring Garibaldi across now. And I think I'll just bring the partisans over. And then leave the red shirts, maybe even leave Medici back in here to do an amphibious landing even further up the coast. We can just keep on bouncing up. That all looks good. Yep, can't replenish any of those. They're all pretty good. Actually, I can over strengthen this one here. Why not? Let's do it. Because I'm not moving it anyway, so I might as well just get it full, overpowered. So we'll do that. Everyone else they're going to be rattling through these fairly quickly now. That's all good. End our turn. There we go, we've got a cavalry unit. Now that's the last of the actual extra units that we end up getting. So they're moving away now. If I can cut off this road here, Politicastrano, that's going to be good. Because that's then going to block off all of this. So there won't be any more supply coming from Salerno. That little intersection through here is the critical one. Because we've got this road cut off. So they're not getting supply from Taranto, but they're still getting supply. I don't know if we can see the enemy supply. No, we don't. We only get to see ours. So, we've got the 5 coming from Brixio back in through there. Yeah, we did lose that town now. Till we break through, there's not really a lot we can do here. They're down to nothing, basically. Cross. Come back to those units in just a second. Unfortunately, him moving across that way is going to make life a little bit more difficult. There we go. We can now cut him off. That's good. Still haven't got the road connection, but we've actually got, at least that's now isolated still. This one was down to 2 supply. I don't want von Mikel being able to do anything here. So we'll just leave that one back there. There we go. So we've now got a road connection that sort of runs from Garibaldi. If we have a look at the supply now and just sort of see what's going to happen in the next turn. So Garibaldi will give us 8 at that location, which will then push out through this other side. So we'll start to get better supply now coming back up into here even. So Brixio is now up to 7. We don't actually have a port on this side, so getting a port here is going to be critical. So really it's a long way up. If we get Salerno, it's going to be too close to Naples. That's going to be very, very well protected. But if we can get Taranto... Well, this one is only really stopping Taranto, so let's just move this one up and move in towards Taranto in through there. We'll do what we were doing there before to cut off the bottom here and still sort of move things through. What are we up to now? We've got turn 22 of 38, so we're a little bit over halfway. And we are running out of time again today. I thought we'd actually rattle through this, but not to be. Now we should be able to put on this one into amphibious transports. So spend that. Yes, we do have the money for that one, and we'll get Medici in there as well. That will then give me a force that I can then land up the coast that doesn't need a port to operate. So we'll actually go into Maratea with those 2 forces, which means that I might as well just march this one back along the coast, I think, and we'll start to now operate from this location, from Messina, the port at Messina. That port there is going to be the main port that we then end up having, but getting it across the Straits of Messina is going to be a little bit tricky. Getting the supply. Oops, it's twitchy. It works with those. Bring the partisans up just to compress everything. Now we've already taken these. We know that there's other forces now moving back up. I can get that one up to 7. I might as well do that. Yep, that's all okay. And yeah, I won't push those. That one's still got 6 supply, so that is definitely being supplied strongly from these other locations. So blocking off Maratea is going to then really give us the toe of Italy, or the foot of Italy completely. Basically, nothing's going to be able to supply you effectively as long as I can keep this road blocked as well. So Bernardella, if I can actually get on that little river through there, that's going to be good protection. I really love this about this game, actually. Like, this is just these little, like, we're now finding like very, very clear objectives to do very, very specific things. And if we find other commanders like von Mikel, if they can then boost the supply of those things around them, it's a really nice little system. It's not overly complex, but it's still effective. Very, very effective supply system. It does sort of work in the game. It's sort of funny. I've got a much better feel for it today than what I had yesterday, which is which is great. But yesterday I was still muddling my way through without any real problem. We'll end our turn there. So we're now sort of getting like minimal MPP. So I now really got to spend this on transports and stuff like that. Okay, Terci has been captured. Now that was back up here. It doesn't help them. Where it does help them is if they get Stilgano, they can then actually still get the supply from Salerno back down this way. In fact, even from Taranto, that road still continues on back through to Potenza, and then back in around. So really, I do need to cut off at Maratea. Maratea is really the key, I think. But that road, they could reopen that road up if they needed to. Let's just go back into there and just stay where we are there. So we've got a bit of a defensive area there because we actually are on the, I don't know if it'll tell us the properties of the, there we go, river. Yeah, maximum entrenchment of 2. So we just get a bit more entrenchment there just by being on that river. Again, nice and simple. The way it's sort of working. Now we do have to smash these things. He's only got one more spot there, so we'll... artillery actually did help defend that one, but it's gone. Now this one here has got supply of 6, no sorry, supply of 3, because it was near that particular one again. There we go. Right, we now have a connection up to this other group, and if we have a look at our supply now, I don't know what the little bracket of 5, oh that's the leader commands, but we do actually have 10. We do have a limited supply in through that side. 9. Then it's a gap there to get across to the 6. We are getting 7 from that one. Back up, a boost from Garibaldi, a boost from Brixio. So we're now starting to sort of get more supply up this other side, which is good. All right, let's move these up the coast. Now that's Medici. Let's move the other one up. So this one does actually get to Maratea. Right, let's take it. Let's take the town. We did suffer landing casualties, and there's another commander there at that location. So we'll now get Medici up. The landing casualties are they're sort of like a random number, I believe. Get Medici back in that side as well. So Medici will then be able to give support in through this other side. Let's just keep on hitting this one now. And we're now on that road. We've now cut this road off, which is good. So these will now all start to suffer. I'm going to keep that road, that position there. I like that position. It's only if we lose this one that we're going to need to rethink things a little bit. So we've now used up both of our... We still can't move any of the transports at this point in time, so we'll just keep on bringing everything across. Garibaldi can start to move up the coast. Can't move those. Can move these. What can we get up to here? We can get up to 10 there again. That's good. They've all moved. Oh, we're down to 22, so I can't replenish anyone else there. So we use the partisans. So let's just start to push up and just take more towns and compress things up now, just to sort of get rid of all the forces that are in this middle area. Well, so we've got good supply now happening in through that other side. All right, they've all moved. I think I'll get to the port of Messina again and just see if we can bounce another unit back up into here somewhere, just to get Medici to be able to give them a bit of supply. All right, that's good. So in about 10 minutes, we'll sort of we'll do a raid. If you're watching here on Twitch, we'll do a raid into the Slytherin channel where they're going to be doing their Home of Wargames event, which is going to be then going through all the coming changes to Slytherin games, which is always a good one to watch. Actually, I've got to say, like if you're into Slytherin games, which I am, I always like watching what they have. I'll probably end up having to go back to sleep because I'm fairly tired, but definitely will be. It's a show I like to watch I forget how often they do it, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But anyway, it's always a good one. Always good information. You often get a lot of information about what's coming. That they often drop things that they're not supposed to tell you, which is good. So it's always worth watching. Now Bloyman's saying, I'm not sure if it's the same as with Strategic Command World War One, but in that you can also use a switch function to switch units. I think you could have made it with that. Oh, as in switch them around. Yeah, I think you're right. There is actually it's a position. I forget where it is. I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm not sure how to do it. Is it down here? Might be one of these. March, sleep, disband. I thought it was one of these. Upgrade. No, it's not there. But I think you're correct. There is something you can do with that. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is. But it's similar. Like they do have specific things for each game, but it's like the actual major theme of the game. But it's but I'm pretty sure you can. Blorman saying in that it's quite necessary to manage the front line with multiple layers of infantry. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to be able to sort of switch things around. I don't know if I've got. I think they both have to have movement points, but can we have a look at that? Does that one work? Yeah, I'm not seeing it there really. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure how to do that. Now this one here, we've already moved. Good, it's moving away. Now that's going to stop it from supplying units. Oh, now we've lost that town, but we still have the road. Okay, so they've got that town now has fallen, and we can see that they're building up. So we're now sort of getting into a different phase of the game, which is interesting again. I've got to say, I really like the pacing of this game. Let's keep on moving up. We can sort of block these off anyway. I don't know how many we've caught in this little trap, but hopefully a few. Now, I can only get 1 point maximum there because of the lack of supply. Not that I need to do anything else. It's a good location there. What are you down to? 3 supply for that particular group. I need to get my red shirts up and into the fight. What's their morale? The morale is shot, absolutely shot to pieces. And we're sort of caught in the hills here. Just get those up to full fitness. Bring the partisans up. I like the difference in these little units as well. Like the partisans, not really able to be all that manoeuvrable, but can still sort of work in behind lines fairly effectively. Living off the land. think I might just level that, just give that one a bit of a boost. Just to get it up to 8. A bit more survivability. And so the cavalry will be able to now come back up and help with the others that we have in through there. Yeah, that one may be able to make its way back up. Sorry, I should have clicked on that. So you can play from either side, like the Bourbons, or from the... oh, here we go. That little group is... there we go, we've got Campania peasants rise up against the Bourbons. Right on the outskirts of Salerno. That's going to cut off a bit more supply. But we're going to probably want them to move away from Salerno. I don't think we can capture Salerno with that, with those. Let's get down the coast and just start to cut off the supply from that particular port. It's cutting off these roads is important. This one here has got only 2 supply, whereas these ones over here will have 8 supply because of Taranto. That gets that road open, and we'll just go this way now. So we've now got connection all the way through with supply. Stuck on a road there, which is annoying. Away at those. Bring these red shirts up this road. Even just the compression of the of trying to get things to work in different locations is interesting with this game. Okay, so by that I mean, you know, just the limits of getting the units up the roads and into fighting zones. The partisans are now just going to be sort of in the way of our units. We bring that one across, and the next turn we can then go from the port here with those and land them in around here somewhere as well. Let's bring those up. Just keep that one there. So we'll start to sort of just pepper our way through this particular location here. It'd be interesting to try it from the other side and just sort of see how things do sort of work. I think these have all now moved, so we've done everything we can there. This one here is in a bad way. No point staying there anymore. It's done its job. So we'll just move it down a little bit onto the coast. These, unfortunately, are going to take Bernalda, so we're going to lose that one. But we will actually then have other forces that can then start to come up in through this zone now. So we'll leave that one there. Yes. It's an engaging game. Like it's sort of it's funny. It's simple in so many ways, but it's actually got a lot of depth. It's got a degree of depth about it as well, which is interesting. Yeah, we're getting really damaged here badly. More risings. That's good. Agrippoli, that's going to give me that whole coastal road now. It's got all of that. Move that one down. That's now got that all connected, which means we might as well extend out into the there's enemy contact there. But yeah, if we can sort of if we can control this road, that would be good. Now, what supply have we got? We've got 7 there, so I can do a little bit more with the with getting this one up. So I'll get that one up to full strength. want to come in behind these others now and start to create another front line back in through this other side. I'm going to move that one back down the coast so we can sort of fix that one up ultimately. Then move these up along the coastal road with Brixio. And we still actually have our little problem here. And the trouble with that is we can't then get off into the mountains to clear the way. So I need to keep on sort of just shuffling units back out of the way here. We haven't done well with that. It's been quite hard just to dislodge this cavalry unit. Garibaldi up. It has delayed us, and we're on a ticking clock here. Get the amphibious transport there. So we can move that one and leapfrog that up towards Salerno now as well. But we have run out of time, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a raid. If you're here on Twitch, we're going to raid across into the Slytherin channel, so I know how to do that now after yesterday. So there we go. Cole's saying with an active unit, select one. Select one. Okay, so where have we got one? Let's just do that before we go. So with an active unit, select one, and then hold the shift, then hover over the adjacent active unit. So shift, there we go. Bang, they've switched. Alright, so that's how you do that one. That's cool actually. So, and it then has less action points after the switch. Don't know if we can do it like this one here, for example. This one doesn't have any more action points. Can we do it with this one? Shift, no, we can't, because they both need action points. That one, yeah, that one we could have done it. We could have done that one there. That one does have action points, but has already got 0 attacks though, so I can't really use that one in that role. But I might as well do it anyway. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realise that. Thanks, K Cole. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bid the people on YouTube farewell, and then we'll do the raid across to the Slytherin channel. So I'll say